The desert was too quiet. Not peaceful, not calm. Wrong. Specialist Emma Carter had learned to trust that feeling. It wasn't fear, it was instinct, the kind that kept soldiers alive when logic failed. A hot gust of wind swept across the barren land, carrying grains of sand that stung her skin like tiny needles. The horizon shimmered under the brutal sun, blurring the line between earth and sky. It was the kind of place where people disappeared and were never found again. Emma moved in formation with her squad, her boots sinking slightly into the soft sand with each step. Every movement was controlled, every breath measured. Their mission had sounded simple during briefing: infiltrate a suspected enemy zone, confirm intel about a hidden base, get out without being seen. But Emma knew better. There was no such thing as a simple mission in a place like this. Her eyes scanned the dunes carefully. Something about the silence bothered her. There were no tubby-y sounds, no distant movement, no sunket of life. Even the wind seemed hesitant. "Something's off," she whispered under her breath. Her squad leader, Staff Sergeant Cole, raised his fist in the air. Instantly, everyone froze. The team dropped low, weapons up, eyes searching. Seconds passed. Then a full minute. Nothing. Emma's heartbeat slowed slightly, but the unease didn't fade. If anything, it grew stronger. Her grip tightened on her rifle. She took a cautious step forward. That's when she heard it. Click. Time stopped. Her eyes widened. IED! The explosion came before she could finish. Boom! The Zameen erupted beneath them, fire and sand blasted upward, throwing Emma violently into the air. Her body slammed into the ground several feet away, knocking the breath out of her lungs. Her ears rang. Everything sounded distant, muffled, like she was underwater. She tried to move, but her body refused to respond for a moment. Pain shot through her shoulder, sharp and burning. Then the gunfire started. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat! It came from all directions. The dunes, empty just seconds ago, came alive with Dushman fighters emerging from hidden positions. It had been a perfect trap. "Ambush! Take cover!" The shout cut through the chaos. Emma forced herself up, ignoring the dirt. Training took over. Instinct replaced shock. She rolled behind a jagged rock just as bullets slammed into the sand where she had been lying. Her breathing steadied. Inhale, exhale. She leaned out and fired, short, controlled bursts. One teammate dropped, another ducked behind cover. But there were too many, way too many. To her left, one of her teammates fell, motionless. Another tried to drag him back, but was forced to retreat under heavy fire. "Fall back! Fall back!" Sergeant Cole yelled. Smoke grenades were deployed instantly. Thick gray clouds spread across the battlefield, swallowing everything in seconds. This was their only chance. Emma didn't hesitate. She ran. Through the smoke, through the chaos, through the screams of her squad. Every step felt heavier than the last. Her lungs burned, her legs screamed, but she didn't stop. She couldn't. Behind her, the gunfire continued. Then, slowly, it faded, until there was nothing. Emma stumbled forward a few more steps before collapsing behind a tall dune. Her chest heaved as she tried to catch her breath. Sweat mixed with sand on her face, turning into a gritty paste. For a moment, she just lay there, alive. That alone felt unreal. She pushed herself up slowly, wincing as pain shot through her shoulder. Her uniform was torn, stained with dust and a small patch of blood, but it wasn't life-threatening. Not yet. Her hands trembled slightly as she checked her gear. Rifle, still functional. Sidearm, secure. Ammo, limited. Too limited. She reached for her water canteen. It was lighter than it should have been. She shook it. Not much left. A sinking feeling hit her chest. Then she grabbed her radio. "Carter, to squad, come in." Static. She frowned and adjusted the frequency. "Carter, to squad, do you copy?" Nothing. Her heartbeat quickened. Sergeant Cole, this is Carter. Respond. Silence. Only the wind answered. No, 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 no. She hit the radio lightly as if that would fix it. Tried again and again. Dead. Completely dead. Emma lowered the device slowly, her throat tightening. She looked around. Endless desert stretched in every direction. No movement, no sign of her team, no sunket of life. Just sand and silence. The realization hit her like another explosion. She was alone. The sun began its slow descent, turning the sky shades of orange and deep red. Shadows stretched across the dunes, twisting the landscape into something darker, more dangerous. Night in the desert was a different kind of enemy. Freezing temperatures, limited visibility, and predators, human and otherwise. Emma wiped sweat from her face, forcing herself to think clearly. Panic wouldn't help her. Fear wouldn't save her. She needed a plan. Then she froze. Her eyes locked on the ground. Footprints. Not hers. Fresh. Her pulse spiked instantly. They were close. Too close. Slowly, carefully, she raised her rifle, scanning the horizon. Every shadow looked like a threat. Every dune felt like a hiding place. They were tracking her. Hunting her. A lesser soldier might have run. Emma didn't. Instead, something inside her changed. The fear didn't disappear. It hardened, turned into focus, into determination. "They think I'm alone," she whispered under her breath. Her grip on the rifle tightened. "They think I'm easy prey." She stood up slowly, her eyes sharp, her breathing controlled. The scared soldier from moments ago was gone. In her place stood a fighter, a survivor, a weapon. Emma took one last look at the endless desert around her. Then she stepped forward, not to escape, but to fight her way out. Let them come. The sun disappeared behind the dunes, and with it, the last feeling of safety. The desert transformed. What had been a burning wasteland just hours ago was now a freezing, shadow-filled nightmare. The Hawa turned cold, sharp against Emma's skin, cutting through her torn uniform. Darkness spread quickly, too quickly. Emma moved low across the sand, her boots barely making a sound. Every step was calculated, every tawakuf deliberate. She wasn't just moving anymore, she was surviving. Her eyes adjusted slowly to the dim light. The moon rose faintly above, casting pale silver across the dunes. It wasn't enough to see clearly, but enough to see danger. And danger was close. She could feel it. The footprints she had spotted earlier weren't random. They were following a pattern, tracking, closing in. "They're hunting me," she whispered. But Emma Carter wasn't prey. She stopped behind a ridge and dropped to one knee, quickly scanning her surroundings. Her mind raced, not with fear, but strategy. Running blindly would get her killed. She needed to think like them, predict them, outplay them. Emma reached into her pack and pulled out a small combat knife. Then, carefully, she turned and began walking backward, placing her boots into her own previous footprints, erasing her trail. Step by step, silent, precise. After several meters, she veered sharply to the right and slid down a dune, using the soft sand to mask her movement. A trick, a gamble, but it might just buy her time. Minutes passed. Then, voices, faint but real. Emma froze instantly, dropping flat against the sand. Her heart slowed, her breathing controlled. She listened. 3, maybe 4 enemies, speaking in low tones, getting closer. "They're here." She slowly raised her rifle, aligning it with the crest of the dune. Her finger rested lightly on the trigger. One wrong move, one sound, and it would all be over. The voices grew louder. A shadow appeared at the top of the ridge, then another. Silhouettes against the moonlight. They stopped. One of them pointed towards the rummel below, toward her old footprints. Emma's chest tightened. They had taken the bait. The group moved forward, following the false trail she had left behind. Emma didn't move, didn't breathe. Seconds felt like hours. Finally, they passed. Gone. She exhaled slowly, her muscles relaxing just slightly. That was close. Too close. But the night was far from over. Emma moved again, faster now, but still careful. She needed distance, needed a macan to hide, to regroup, to think. Her throat burned with thirst. She took a small sip from her canteen, just enough to survive, not enough to waste. Every drop mattered now. Suddenly, a sound. Behind her, a soft crunch of sand. Emma spun instantly, raising her rifle. Too late. A figure lunged from the darkness. They collided hard, crashing into the sand. Her rifle flew from her hands. The enemy soldier was fast, strong. He tried to pin her down, reaching for his weapon. Emma reacted instantly. She drove her elbow into his throat. He choked, loosening his grip. She twisted her body, grabbing her combat knife and striking. Once, twice. The struggle ended as quickly as it began. Silence returned. Emma pushed the body off her, breathing heavily. Her hands trembled slightly, not from fear, but from adrenaline. That had been close, too close. She grabbed her rifle and checked the surroundings. No other movement, for now. But that attack changed everything. They weren't just hunting her anymore, they were closing in. Emma moved quickly, her mind racing. She needed an advantage. Fighting them one by one wouldn't work forever. She needed terrain, cover, a place to turn the hunt around. Then she saw it. In the distance, barely visible in the moonlight, ruins. Old, broken structures rising from the desert like ghosts of the past. Perhaps an abandoned village or an old outpost. Either way, it was her best chance. Emma didn't hesitate. She headed towards it. The ruins were even eerier up close. Cracked walls, collapsed roofs, shadows hiding unknown dangers. Perfect for an ambush. Emma slipped inside one of the broken buildings, her senses on high alert. Every sound echoed, every shadow moved. She found a position near a shattered window, giving her a clear view of the approach. Then she waited. Minutes passed. Then, footsteps. Multiple. They had followed her. Of course they had. Emma steadied her rifle, her breathing slowing again. This was it. No more running, no more hiding. If she wanted to survive, she had to fight. The first enemy entered the ruins cautiously, weapon raised. Another followed. Emma didn't move, didn't breathe. Seconds felt like hours. Finally, now, bang! The first shot dropped the lead soldier instantly. Chaos erupted. Gunfire exploded through the ruins. Emma moved fast, changing positions after every shot. She was outnumbered, but not outmatched. One by one, she picked them off. Smart, precise, deadly. Then, click. Her rifle stopped. Out of ammo. Her heart skipped. Footsteps rushed towards her position. No time. Emma dropped her rifle and pulled her sidearm, but before she could fire, a voice shouted from the darkness, "Stop!" Emma froze. The voice. It wasn't enemy. It was familiar. Her eyes widened. Impossible. "Carter, don't shoot." A figure stepped into the moonlight, injured, covered in dust, but alive. Sergeant Cole? Her voice shook. She had thought he was dead, left behind, gone. But here he was, breathing, alive. Emma lowered her weapon slowly, disbelief written all over her face. How? Cole gave a weak, tired smile. "Long story. We don't have time." His expression turned serious. "They're not just hunting you." A pause. "They're hunting all of us." Emma stared at Sergeant Cole, her mind struggling to catch up with reality. He was alive. After everything, the explosion, the ambush, the chaos, she had been certain he was gone. But now he stood in front of her, injured, exhausted, but alive. For a brief second, relief washed over her, but it didn't last, because something in his eyes felt off. "Sergeant, what happened?" Emma asked, keeping her voice low but steady. Cole glanced toward the dark entrance of the ruins, his grip tight on his weapon. His breathing was uneven. "We got split during the ambush. Some of us made it out, others didn't. Who else is alive?" A pause. "Not many." That wasn't an answer. Emma narrowed her eyes slightly. Her instincts, the same instincts that had saved her earlier, started whispering again. Something wasn't right. But before she could press further, gunfire erupted outside. Both of them reacted instantly, taking cover behind the cracked stene. Bullets tore through the air, hitting the ruins with sharp, echoing cracks. "They found us," Moulter muttered. Emma peeked through the broken window. Multiple Dushman fighters were advancing, surrounding the structure from different sides. Too many. Again. "We can't hold here," she said. Cole nodded. "There's a way out, backside of the ruins, narrow path between the rocks. We move fast, we might make it." Might. Emma checked her sidearm. Low on ammo. Her rifle was empty. Knife still secure. Not ideal, but it would have to do. "On your signal," she said. Cole counted silently with his fingers. 3, 2, 1. They moved. They burst out of the ruins into the cold desert night, immediately drawing fire. Bullets chased them through the darkness as they sprinted toward the narrow rock passage Cole had mentioned. Sand slipped beneath their boots, slowing them down. Emma's lungs burned, her body screaming, but she didn't stop. Couldn't stop. A bullet struck the ground inches from her foot. Another grazed her sleeve. "Keep moving," Cole shouted. They reached the rocks and slipped into the tight passage just as gunfire intensified behind them. The path was narrow, forcing them into single file. Perfect choke point. Emma turned, raising her sidearm. She fired carefully. One shot, one target. The first enemy fell, then another, but more were coming. "They won't stop," Emma said, breathing hard. "They don't need to," Cole replied. "They just need to slow us down." That sentence hit her. Hard. Slow us down? For what? Emma glanced at him. "Sergeant, what aren't you telling me?" Cole didn't answer immediately. His silence said everything. "Cole," her voice was sharper now. "Talk." He finally looked at her. His face was tense. "The intel we were sent to recover," he said. A pause. "Wasn't about an enemy base." Emma's heart skipped. "Then what was it?" Cole looked her straight in the eyes. "About a list." "What list?" His voice dropped to almost a whisper. "American soldiers." Silence. Heavy. Dangerous. Emma's mind struggled to process it. A list of their own soldiers? That doesn't make any sense. "It does if those soldiers are being targeted," Cole replied. Targeted by who? Cole didn't answer, but he didn't need to. Emma understood. "Someone on the inside?" she whispered. Cole nodded. "Yes." Gunfire echoed again from the distance, reminding them they weren't safe yet. "We need to move," Cole said. "There's a fallback extraction point about 5 clicks from here. If we make it, we might get out alive." Might. Again that word. Emma nodded slowly, but something inside her had shifted. This wasn't just survival anymore. This was something bigger, something deeper. They moved through the rocky terrain, keeping low and silent. The pursuit continued, distant but relentless. Emma's thoughts kept circling back to one thing: a setup, a traitor. Someone had sent them into that ambush knowing they wouldn't come back. But who? And why? "Who else knew about the mission?" she asked suddenly. Cole didn't break stride. "Command, intelligence, a few high-level officers." Emma frowned. That narrowed it down, but not enough. Did you notice anything strange before the mission? Cole hesitated again. Too long. Emma stopped walking. Cole. He turned slowly. What? Her eyes locked onto his, sharp, searching. You're not telling me everything. A tense silence filled the air between them. Wind howled through the rocks. Far away, a voice echoed, enemy movement still tracking them. But in that moment, Emma wasn't focused on them. She was focused on him. Cole exhaled slowly. There's something you need to know, he said. Emma's grip tightened on her weapon. What? Cole stepped closer, lowered his voice. The intel we were sent to recover, he said. A pause. Wasn't about an enemy base. Emma's heart skipped. Then what was it? Cole looked her straight in the eyes. About a list. What list? His voice dropped to almost a whisper. American soldiers. Silence. Heavy. Dangerous. Emma's mind struggled to process it. A list of their own soldiers? That doesn't make any sense. It does if those soldiers are being targeted, Cole replied. Targeted by who? Cole didn't answer, but he didn't need to. Emma understood. Someone on the inside? She whispered. Cole nodded. Yes. Gunfire echoed again from the distance, reminding them they weren't safe yet. We need to move, Cole said. There's a fallback extraction point about 5 clicks from here. If we make it, we might get out alive. Might. Emma nodded slowly, but something inside her had shifted. This wasn't just survival anymore. This was something bigger, something deeper. They moved through the rocky terrain, keeping low and silent. The pursuit continued, distant but relentless. Emma's thoughts kept circling back to one thing: a setup, a traitor. Someone had sent them into that ambush knowing they wouldn't come back. But who? And why? Who else knew about the mission? She asked suddenly. Cole didn't break stride. Command, intelligence, a few high-level officers. Emma frowned. That narrowed it down, but not enough. Did you notice anything strange before the mission? Cole hesitated again. Too long. Emma stopped walking. Cole. He turned slowly. What? Her eyes locked onto his, sharp, searching. You're not telling me everything. A tense silence filled the air between them. Wind howled through the rocks. Far away, a voice echoed, enemy movement still tracking them. But in that moment, Emma wasn't focused on them. She was focused on him. Cole exhaled slowly. There's something you need to know, he said. Emma's grip tightened on her weapon. What? Cole stepped closer, lowered his voice. The intel we were sent to recover, he said. A pause. Wasn't about an enemy base. Emma's heart skipped. Then what was it? Cole looked her straight in the eyes. About a list. What list? His voice dropped to almost a whisper. American soldiers. Silence. Heavy. Dangerous. Emma's mind struggled to process it. A list of their own soldiers? That doesn't make any sense. It does if those soldiers are being targeted, Cole replied. Targeted by who? Cole didn't answer, but he didn't need to. Emma understood. Someone on the inside? She whispered. Cole nodded. Yes. Gunfire echoed again from the distance, reminding them they weren't safe yet. We need to move, Cole said. There's a fallback extraction point about 5 clicks from here. If we make it, we might get out alive. Might. Emma nodded slowly, but something inside her had shifted. This wasn't just survival anymore. This was something bigger, something deeper. They moved through the rocky terrain, keeping low and silent. The pursuit continued, distant but relentless. Emma's thoughts kept circling back to one thing: a setup, a traitor. Someone had sent them into that ambush knowing they wouldn't come back. But who? And why? Who else knew about the mission? She asked suddenly. Cole didn't break stride. Command, intelligence, a few high-level officers. Emma frowned. That narrowed it down, but not enough. Did you notice anything strange before the mission? Cole hesitated again. Too long. Emma stopped walking. Cole. He turned slowly. What? Her eyes locked onto his, sharp, searching. You're not telling me everything. A tense silence filled the air between them. Wind howled through the rocks. Far away, a voice echoed. Enemy movement still tracking them. But in that moment, Emma wasn't focused on them. She was focused on him. Cole exhaled slowly. There's something you need to know, he said. Emma's grip tightened on her weapon. What? Cole stepped closer, lowered his voice. The intel we were sent to recover, he said. A pause. Wasn't about an enemy base. Emma's heart skipped. Then what was it? Cole looked her straight in the eyes. About a list. What list? Gunfire echoed through the rocky passage, each shot getting closer. Emma tightened her grip on the data drive in her hand. It felt heavier than it should, like it carried the weight of every zindagi lost in that desert. Cole's blood soaked into the sand beneath him. His breathing was weak now, shallow. Go, he whispered. Emma shook her head instantly. No, I'm not leaving you. Emma. His voice cracked, but his eyes stayed sharp. This isn't about me anymore. Another burst of gunfire struck the rocks above them, sending fragments flying. Time was running out. You have the drive, Cole continued. That's the mission now. That's everything. Emma's jaw tightened. Every instinct told her to stay, to fight, to protect her team. But another instinct, the one that had kept her alive this whole time, told her the truth. If she stayed, they both died. If she left, there was still a chance. A long, painful silence passed between them. Then Emma nodded slowly. I'll come back for you, she said, her voice low but firm. Cole gave a faint smile. I know you will. Emma squeezed his shoulder once, then turned and ran. She moved fast through the narrow rocks, ignoring the pain in her body, ignoring the exhaustion pulling her down. Behind her, the enemy closed in. Ahead, uncertainty. But she didn't stop, couldn't stop. Every step was driven by one thought: finish the mission. The rocky passage finally opened back into the desert. The night was colder now, the wind harsher. The moon hung high, casting long shadows across the dunes. Emma slowed briefly, scanning the horizon. 5 kilometers. That's what Cole had said. 5 kilometers to the fallback extraction point. It didn't sound far, but out here, injured, hunted, and low on supplies, it might as well have been 50. She took a breath and started moving again. Time blurred. Minutes felt like hours. Her legs burned. Her throat was dry. Every muscle screamed at her to stop, but she didn't, because stopping meant dying. Suddenly, a sow behind her. Emma spun, raising her weapon. A figure emerged from the darkness. Not enemy. Uniform. American. Relief hit her instantly, until it didn't. Easy, Carter, the man said calmly, stepping closer. It's me. Emma narrowed her eyes. Captain Reynolds, command officer. He shouldn't be here. How did you? She started. I tracked your signal, came to extract you. Something about his tone felt wrong, too calm, too controlled. Emma didn't lower her weapon. Where's the extraction team? She asked. They're on the way. You did good, soldier. Now hand over the drive. There it was. The moment everything clicked. Emma's grip tightened. How did you know about the drive? She asked quietly. A pause. Just a second, but enough. Reynolds smiled slightly, and in that smile, she saw the truth. You're smarter than I thought. Emma's heart pounded, but her face stayed cold. You set us up. Not a question, a fact. Reynolds didn't deny it. Collateral damage, he said casually. That list is valuable, very valuable. Emma felt anger rise inside her. Those are American soldiers. To you, to others, they're leverage. The words hit like a punch. This wasn't just betrayal. This was something far worse. You sold us out, Emma said. Reynolds shrugged. I made a deal. Silence fell between them. Cold, heavy, final. "Give me the drive, Carter," Reynolds said, his voice hardening. Emma slowly shook her head. No. The tension snapped. Reynolds reached for his weapon, but Emma was faster. Bang! The shot rang out across the desert. Reynolds stumbled back, clutching his shoulder, but he didn't fall. Instead, he fired back. Emma dove behind a dune as bullets tore through the sand. The fight was on. This wasn't like the others. Reynolds was trained, experienced, dangerous. He moved strategically, using the terrain, anticipating her movements. Emma shifted positions constantly, keeping low, staying unpredictable. One mistake, and it was over. She peeked, fired, moved. Reynolds returned fire with precision. Sand exploded around her. Her ammo was almost gone. One shot left. Just one. Her heart pounded in her chest as she steadied her breathing. Inhale, exhale. She waited, listening. Then, footsteps. Close. Too close. Emma turned. Reynolds was right there, gun raised. "End of the line," he said. Emma didn't hesitate. Bang! Her final shot hit its mark. Reynolds froze, then collapsed into the sand. Silence returned. Emma stood there breathing heavily, staring at the fallen traitor. It was over, but it didn't feel like victory. Too much had been lost, too many lives. She looked down at the drive in her hand. This was the real mission now, exposing the truth, stopping the damage, making sure none of it was for nothing. Hours later, the distant sound of a helicopter broke the silence. Emma looked up as rescue finally arrived. This time, it was real. She didn't move as it landed, didn't wave. She just stood there, holding the drive, holding the truth. Days later, safe behind secured walls, the data was analyzed. The list was real, the conspiracy even bigger than they imagined. But it was stopped because of one soldier. Emma stood alone looking out at the horizon once more. The desert was far away now, but it hadn't left her. It never would. She closed her eyes briefly, remembering the faces, the avaz, the sacrifice. Then she opened them again, stronger, colder, unbreakable. "They thought I wouldn't make it," she whispered. A pause, a steady breath. They were wrong.